What comes to your mind when you picture the word rest? Do you picture a incredible night's sleep? Do images or flashbacks from last weekend or perhaps a holiday you once took come to the front of your mind? Do you think about an activity, a hobby, a sport you play that just gives you enough energy to go into the next week and take on life and everything that brings with it? Rest is a funny concept because we all do it. We all sleep either, whether it's a little bit or a lot. Some of us play video games. Some of us like different types of sports and activities, social media. We all rest. But I wonder how often we actually consider what rest does to us. And are we even doing it right? This is the exact type of thing I'd love to explore over this series on rest. Is there more to it? Is it possible to rest our whole selves, our dreams, our goals, our ego, our spirit? Can rest be used for more than just something we feel like we have to do or might even feel like it's a waste of time? Can rest rebuild, restore, refine? Can rest be more restful? To better explore this idea of rest, I think we first need to admit that Western society doesn't do rest well. Let me give you one example. I used to say to somebody, "How are you?" And the common response was, "I'm good, thank you," or "I'm well, thank you, how are you?" You ask anyone the same question nowadays and you'll get possibly a different answer. "How are you?" "I'm busy." "How are you?" "I'm a little under the pump at the moment." It's like we wear this busyness as a badge. A kind of a code for trying to tell people how busy we are is kind of saying, "I'm really productive. I'm really needed. I'm really important." It's as if something in our culture says that we're only worth something as a person if we're productive. That we're only worth something if we're producing something that someone can see, smell, hear or touch. It kind of defines us. It's why we've even got worse. We don't even single task anymore. We don't even just do one thing. We're obsessed with multitasking. It's probably why I can't stand in grocery lines anymore for a second without looking down at my phone and scrolling. It's probably why I can't go on holidays, much to my wife's annoyance of me, without taking my laptop or without checking my email. Anyone else with me on this? Surely this obsession with being productive and busy is doing damage. In terms of technology, leading research in neuroscience even takes it a step further. It tells us that when we engage with technology, it actually reduces the amount of melatonin being produced in our brain. That's the chemical, in my limited understanding, that helps with deep rhythms of sleep. So technology is literally decreasing how we rest. And I don't even have to take science for it. I can see the personal effects of this technology on myself. Sometimes I'll be sitting on the couch and I'll be scrolling through Facebook or scrolling through Instagram, and one of the kids of my wife will interrupt me. And I'll feel more frustrated than normal. And this just goes to show the fact that my brain is both engaged, but I'm trying to sit on the couch and rest. So I'm neither resting nor properly working. I'm in this kind of pleasing no one space, just making it all the more frustrating and confusing. And even when we finally do sleep, research shows that we don't get enough of it. And the consequences of this range from stress to diabetes, heart attack, or even a stroke. As a culture, it is fair to say, we don't value rest. Don't get me wrong, we would all say rest is important. But look at how we do this in practice. A lot of us are walking around like tired, cranky, not well slept zombies, pumped full of caffeine. Just so we can wear the badge of busyness, just so we can be more productive than that person at work, just so we can have the edge, just so we can do more. If we take this one step deeper, it shows that our inability to rest and our hunger to produce is actually wrapped up in who we think we are. It's actually wrapped up in our identity. It's actually about pride and what we value within ourselves. So what potential does this idea of rest hold? And not just talking about sleep anymore, although that's part of it. What potential is there in having full rest physically, emotionally, and spiritually? Unsurprisingly, many people have spoken about this idea of rest, but so does the library that is the Bible, speaking about it a lot. For starters, the very first story in the Bible, the very first lines of the Bible, talks about the Creator, after creating, resting. Not because the divine needs to pause and have a Kit Kat, not because he is tired, but because God wants to show us something that knitted within us is this idea that we need to rest. And not a rest that just collapses into the furniture at the end of the day, but a rest that is holistic, a rest that circles around the Creator, a rest that is lived out of. And then continuing through the biblical narrative, we come across this tribe, the Israelites, and get this, one of their laws is to rest once a week. One day of the week, they are asked to rest. Their whole tribe rests. Now, it might not seem strange now because we base our week around this, but this is strange for the time. This is written in a time where tribes were enslaving and killing people groups, when they were sacrificing babies to their gods, when rape and murder were just commonplace. And then here's this tribe that have decided one of the most important laws for them to have is to take a day off a week. Not only that, but we find in one of the books called Leviticus, they claim that they're also taking one every 7 years off to live off what they've saved and to let the land rest, to cancel debt, to let people go free. And this whole tribe almost has a party year, a rest year, and just stops. Weird laws for that time. Almost seems like it was divine. And story after story after story is found in this, leading around this holistic, massive power of rest. More to talk about in the series to come, but for now I just want to pose the question, what does it look like for you to rest? Could rest have more potential if we were to look past the narrative that is our world saying that you need to be busy, that you need to be productive, that you need to be stressed and tired all the time because how busy you are is so finely entangled with your identity and call. But maybe there's freedom to be found in rest. Maybe rest can be reflective. Maybe rest can be refining. Maybe rest can be restorative. And maybe you can be rebuilt in a rhythm of rest. Heaps more for us to explore, but for now, tell us how you rest. What do you find rest in? Hit the notification button, hit subscribe, and let's keep this conversation going. And we'll talk soon as we continue this exploration on rest.